So I smacked that tree a lot of times and that tree a lot of times. All these trees do.
I don't know how they don't take these trees out of here.
Here, let's I don't want to break it right off the bat, but
see, it can't really, those leaves.
oops.
Bro, these are too big.
Yep.
Are you gonna go over the freaking double?
Uh-oh.
What?
I gotta get around the tree.
Uh-oh.
Oh!
You got it.
Ooh. Oh, shoot! There's a big rock. Yeah! Perfect, dude! Perfect! Yeah. These leaves kind of throw it off, dude. Yeah, like that's grease in it. Yeah, barely. I just greased it. Oh, I do that. Yeah, I greased it. Yeah. My battery is almost dying, that's why. What's going on, guys? Well, quick fix of the camera. Welcome back to the channel. I am Chris. This is PnwRcMadness. And we got another video today on the Traxxas Mini Max. Now, I just made a video yesterday on the Traxxas Mini Max, and well, guys, I absolutely love the truck. This truck is well over $1 million in engineering put into, well, maybe not just this one chassis, but it started from the ground, which would be this guy, the Xmaxx, and that's kind of what I want to talk about. The Xmaxx and the Maxx, and why I think people are a little disappointed in this super cheap, super durable Mini Max. So before we talk about what we're gonna do, or why I'm a little disappointed, or maybe not why I'm disappointed, I think others are just disappointed. And that is because they are installing systems like this, or they're going straight to the 3S VXL Traxxas system, and things are just breaking, falling apart, and they're not getting a big, huge smile like they would the Xmaxx or the Maxx. Now, when you buy the Traxxas Max and the Xmaxx, you get the truck, I believe it's like $499 or $599. That's great, but it's not ready to run. You have to buy a charger and you have to buy a LiPo, and for this truck, that's probably another 200 bucks. And at the cost of the Mini Max, guys, that truck is just a little over 200 bucks, just about 300 bucks. But the whole reason I want to make this video is because, well, check this out, guys. I still have the stock Traxxas motor in here. I did remove the ESC. I don't know why. It was fine. But guys, this truck makes me smile. This truck is fast. This truck is durable. Even before all the upgrades, this is probably one of the toughest trucks on the market, which in turn makes the little guy behind me and the bigger guy behind me some of the toughest trucks on the market too. Sorry, Arma, you guys, awesome RC cars, but the R&D just isn't there yet. Now, do I feel like I got ripped off? No, not at all. Guys, we're all in this hobby for the same thing. We love to buy the cars, we love to upgrade them, make them fast and whatnot. You know, I think Traxxas did us all a huge favor, because we've all been dreaming about this truck for, well, for a long time. You know, as soon as the monster truck started coming out and the other little Groms started coming out, people were like, Traxxas, build a Mini Xmaxx, build a Mini Xmaxx, and they listened, guys. They listened. They're amazing. They built this. So come on in, and I'm gonna switch it up. Stock diffs. We're gonna switch up the servo. I got a new battery coming. We're gonna change up the plugs. I'm going to run a completely different radio system. Gonna run a FlySky, and yeah, we're just gonna start there and we're just gonna worry about the diffs when it goes. So I'm not too worried about it right now, so let's do this. Now, my only complaint about the truck, well, it's not even a complaint, guys. I know why Traxxas built these trucks the way they did and who they are marketing them towards. They're marketing them towards the new guys. We are just spoiled, and we start with the Xmaxxes and the Maxxes and the Sledges. And well, let's just face it, they're all fast. And the Mini Max, well, it's not. So look at these mini motors and mini ESCs, guys. Let's go ahead and start wrenching. Couple of things. Guys, I am definitely taking the stock brushless system out of here because it's too slow. Ultimately, this is built for a beginner. I believe this truck is perfect. I'm not saying that the guys out there that don't like Traxxas are Traxxas haters. Let me just say that I don't hate Arrma. I don't hate any of the cars. I love all the brands, but I will tell you that for some reason, Traxxas ends up being my go-to rig all the time. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they break less, or maybe it's because they are more widely available. My hobby shop doesn't even carry Arrma parts, so I'm not stuck with Traxxas, but definitely love Traxxas. I'm not a fanboy of Traxxas because I like them all. I just love Traxxas. So anyways, oh, there goes my antenna. Let's go ahead, rip these new parts out of the box, and we're just gonna wish for the best and hope that we don't explode the diffs. So this is the Hobbywing Maxx 10 Easy Run G2, and this is actually the censored system, and how you know that is there is a cable coming off there that connects to the cable on the motor. I'll show you that here in a second. And this is also the 80 amp, and this is for 1/10 scale. So just a few specs on the Hobbywing Maxx 10. Let me tell you, let me open this bad boy up. I'm just going to pull it right out of the manual, and I'm going to, there we go. We got the manual open. I'm gonna give you a couple of tips, and I'm gonna show you guys what you need to program it, all that good stuff. Now, I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure, but I'm not sure if this thing is Bluetooth or not. I need to read the directions, so if it is, that's cool. We can use the Bluetooth module. And if that doesn't work, we'll go ahead and use this Hobbywing 3-in-1 programmer box. Okay, so that's pretty awesome. I'm reading through the directions, and this is the OTA. I don't know what OTA means, but this is the OTA programmer. This one works. And then the, my back is sore. The 3-in-1 programmer, which is pretty cool. Let me take it out of the box for you guys and show you. You can also use this programmer, which is this guy right here. And then there's one more you can use. Couldn't find the LED box, but there are some other cool features about the ESC. It's waterproof. You can actually run the ESC with other brand motors that are not sensorless, and it will still work and whatnot. Anyways, let me show you the motor. I decided to go with the 3652, and this is the 3300 kV. I did do a little bit of reading on Facebook, and a couple of people have mentioned that, well, one person mentioned that you might have to do, or he did some trimming on the chassis. So check that out. Hobbywing makes amazing products. Look at that. I'm not sure what size the motor shaft is, but let's see if we can find some specs on this. So to get your motor, I guess that'd be the whole motor mount and a gear cover. Yep, that's how you get that bad boy off right there. And there is your system for gearing up or gearing down. I guess that'd be like their pin system, but on a vertical mount. Super nice. Guys, this motor is super nice. It's just a little slow. I'm gonna keep it around. I don't know what I'll do with it, but there that is. There is the BL2S 3300 kV. Next, go ahead and pull the ESC out. I'm guessing there's going to be some screws on the bottom. Little 8 mil, 6 mil. Another one, and then it looks to be like some little inserts. Those just pop right out. And then you're going to have your RX box. And these are all 2.0 hex. What the heck? Man, they got that thing trapped in there. Look at that. Wow, that's tight fit right around. That's pretty cool. And maybe that's why we didn't get much range. Maybe it's not, but there's the antenna stuck in the box. It does come with an antenna holder with no antenna in it. Now, I have had this Fly Sky now for, 3 years or so. I'd say probably 3 years roughly. And this is not the Pro. I believe I paid like $160 for this. I do like it. The range isn't, I guess the range is good. The range is good, especially if we're going to use the 8-channel. We're going to be using this 8-channel, and that should fit in the RX box just fine. And it has a little bit smaller footprint, so we'll be good there. And we'll actually use the antenna, and we'll get some pretty good range. But I also been running this right here. I run it in this case. I forget the name of the brand, but I've had this for 10, 12 years. It is a little dirty, but it works well. And this radio is super awesome. So if you guys are looking to buy a different radio, I definitely suggest the Fly Sky Noble MB4. That is the model MB4. A couple of cool features, guys. It is a little dirty and dusty, so don't judge. But you can run this left-handed. You could swap it around the other side. But right now I have this phone mount on here. So if I take the phone mount off, which is screwed on, anyways, that'll go that way, and you can remove the battery and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, cool radio. Check it out. I'm not really sure how all this is going to fit in there yet, but I think first thing we got to do is unscrew the pinion and the mount. I'm guessing this will probably be an upgrade by companies hopefully soon, the motor mount, because now I'm just noticing that, yeah, this is plastic, that's cool. But even on the Maxx, it does come with a metal plate. So the Xmaxx comes with plastic plate, and their mount is good. So I'm not bashing it. I'm just getting it apart. So let's go ahead and mount that Hobbywing. Now I'm not quite sure where to locate the screws yet, but for now we're just going to plug in the holes right here and here. I don't know if you can see that. And we're just going to make sure that we are putting the wires on the Hobbywing facing up, and it looks like they center up perfectly centered on the mount as well. So that's pretty cool. And the screws are just fine. They come with the stock mount. I already tested those before I stuck them in. But you always want to make sure that you're not putting too long of a screw into a motor. So definitely always double check that. And then when you tighten this up, you can't really get it like super duper 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 tight. But there is Loctite on those screws, so you should be just fine. We're going to go ahead and use the same 20-tooth stock pinion for now and see how that runs. I'm just going to kind of snug it on there just to see where we stand. And this has Loctite on it as well, so make sure you snug that down a little better than it was out of the box. Cool, so there is the truck right there. I didn't take off the center drive shaft. I think it's just a plastic shaft with 2 ends. There is it's just, yeah. We only have a front and a rear diff, and we don't have a slipper, we don't have a gear diff. We have a, what do you call that? A locker, basically. So it's sending equal power front to rear, but hey, we're going to try it out. They say that this is only a 2S truck, and there is 3S parts coming for it, but we can't wait for those parts, so we're going to keep going anyways. So how are we going to mount this? I don't know yet. So we got it mounted up there. I do know we're going to shorten the wires. I'll show you that really snappy fast while we're doing that. But we'll just kind of go like this. Cool, fits, looks good. Oh yeah. You know, this is a nice looking motor. I do like it. Ooh, I do like it. Traxxas builds some nice stuff. And let's just go ahead for poops and giggles, mock it up and see where she lands. All right, so that fits in the truck just perfect. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to mount it up, but I'm going to turn the camera off for a minute until we figure that part out. Now, I'm not sure if you can see that down in there, but there's a piece of plastic right there. I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. What I found is you can screw the servo down, or what I found is you can screw the ESC down. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. You don't have to. It does fit without that, without removing it. But I just want to be able to bump it in and move it as far forward as possible. So you can use your X-Acto knife actually and just go ahead and cut straight down, and you should be able to remove that piece. And then we're going to go ahead and screw up from the bottom, and I'll show you a little trick on how to do that as well. That way you can mount your Hobbywing ESC Max 10. Okay, let me show you really quickly how we're going to mount this up so that you can do the same. Pretty simple. Just grab yourself some blue tape, white tape. Probably, it doesn't matter. Probably do it with clear tape as long as it's wide enough. And what you're going to do now is you're just going to take it, and this ESC is almost exactly as wide long as the tape is wide. So check that out. So we're just going to stick that nice and straight on the bottom of the ESC actually. So flip over your ESC, and this is 2-inch tape. So this is fine. Make sure you're centered up. And then take your razor blade and just cut right along the edge. You don't have to do this on your ESC. You could just do this on your table if you wanted, but I'm just doing it right here so you can get the idea better. So basically, just cut the tape the same size as the footprint of the ESC, right? And this isn't going to hurt anything. And then what you're going to do is just mark your holes. Oh, I shouldn't have covered them up. All right, I got to find the holes. All right, so if you fiddle around enough, you can find them. There they are right there. So that is it. That is the hole. So take the actual screw. There you go. And you'll be able to screw that in right there. So take that piece, take the piece of tape and transfer that piece of tape to your chassis. So that piece of plastic is a little bit more rigid than my X-Acto knife wants to cut. So I'm going to Dremel it out. Take your Dremel or your big razor knife and just cut this little piece right out. Oh man, I didn't want to do that. There you go. Now once you have your little plastic piece cut out of the way, you actually have a little bit of space between the motor and the ESC. Now you can't just take the tape off and stick it down to the chassis because, well, it's sticking to the ESC. And then if you take it off, it's going to be off-center because these holes are offset in each direction. So make sure that you have your holes going, your tape going in the end before you drill in the right orientation. So take that piece of tape, and you're going to take another piece of tape with the sticky side facing down, and then I'm just going to stick that right in the chassis itself. I'm just going to stick that right in the chassis, square it up. There you go. See, I just stuck it right down in the bottom. Next, peel your piece of tape off And because you do have it, the footprint, which is like the bottom, the very bottom, it's going to be a little bit more narrow than the actually width of the whole entire ESC by like a millimeter or two. Again, make sure you're facing in the right direction. So we were going to go this way. And all I'm going to do is just set this piece of tape down. I'm going to mark my holes and drill them. And this is going to be my template for drilling the holes. Just go ahead and hold your tape down. I know it's going to go downwards, but take your drill and drill your holes. There you go. You're going to have a couple of holes right on the bottom of your chassis. No big deal. So it's mounted. It's pretty square. It's all the way to the right side of the chassis. I ended up using both 10mm M3s. I did not get my holes perfectly centered. I should have probably tried laying it out from the bottom just because there is honeycomb in there. But that is a great way to do it. You could do it from the bottom much easier and your holes would be more accurate. Anyways, I think it'll hold. If you want to make sure it holds better, just put some E6000 underneath your ESC as well as those screws. And that will be like double insurance for holding those down. So we're going to go ahead, shorten up all these wires, shorten up the motor wires. And yeah, we're installed. We are just about ready to go again. Unfortunately, the Spectrum servo is not going to work. I didn't really, take it all into consideration, this being a big old fat wire. And I didn't really look at how it goes in the truck. And the other thing is, this thing is just too wide. I mean, it'll squeeze in there, but it won't squeeze in there with this wire underneath. So there's like a little channel in there where the wire goes back underneath the servo. Yeah, so we did go to the local hobby shop, and look, this is what we got. We got the savox. This is the new high voltage 8.4 because the new ESC does have an adjustable voltage. It is not an aluminum case or anything, but it is pretty strong. At 8.4 volts, it's like 300. What did it say? The specs are 277 ounces and 347 ounces. So it's pretty strong. So let's see. I'll show you right on camera. Let's get all this stuff out of the way. All right. So this thing should fit right in. And it is a 25 tooth, so we don't have to worry about that. So what you do is just take the servo wire and wrap it back up underneath the servo. And then your servo slides right in. All right. Yeah, slides right in. There you go, just like that. Right? I think. No. And the wire needs to come out over here. So you're going to make sure that your wire's coming out in the correct spot. I'm going to fiddle with that for a second. Check it out. It fits like a glove. You just have to make sure, you might have to fiddle with that wire, that little tray underneath. And that's where you're going to want it to come out right there. And then there was that little wire holder right there for the stock servo. You can put that wire back in right there in the little clip and then just run it right back into your receiver box. So nice savox servo. Again, let me get you the model number to that. It's right there, guys. So that's going to be the savox SC1267. Right, so we're already I think 120 bucks for the motor and the ESC, and this is like basically 100 bucks. So your 220, you're now up into almost the top of the $400 range, and that's not even including changing out the RX yet. So I'm okay with that because the truck didn't really steer before very well, and that could possibly lead to breaking the truck, which also adds up to buying parts and whatnot. And then the shocks, you know, we'll probably upgrade the shocks, but there's nothing wrong with these shocks at all. Nothing. I mean, I'm not complaining one bit. So this servo fits in there nicely. And I didn't go with a low profile. I just went with the stock size servo, 1/10, 1/8 size servo, because it's got bigger gears and it's just going to be a little bit stronger. You know, it's super close to the front of the truck, you know, and I just want it to last. So yeah, that's what we went with. So we're going to go ahead, I'm going to finish screwing this last one in. I'm not going to attach my horn yet. We'll do that towards the end once we get this ESC turned on. But I'm going to install the motor, and I'm going to shorten all the wires, and I'm going to put on my connectors and all that good stuff, and I'll be right back. Check it out, guys. One more thing before we take the truck out, test out the new system. We got the front shocks taken off, and your kit's going to come with these little part trees. We're going to go ahead and add on 1/8 spacer to the shocks all the way around, and then we got them opened up, and you can see the pistons are actually 3-hole, and you have 2-hole pistons, and you actually get 1-hole piston. So you can customize, tune your shocks however you wish, make them stiffer, not as stiff, whatever you want to do. So we're going to go ahead, refill them back up with this associated 30 weight, and that should be fine. So we'll test that out today. Stock springs, all that good stuff, so let's go.